We're gonna talk about everybody's favorite.
Okay, it can be funny. Wow, I didn't know that.
Do you need it really?
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Hey, you're not okay. I can see you're not okay.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of our podcast where language enthusiasts talk about learning and stuff.
It's three of us here.
I'm Zoya.
I'm Taya.
And I'm Ksusha.
In this chaotic world, we're all in need of safe space to speak one's mind, laugh, and enjoy life.
Because that's the only way to stay sane while
Zooming
through.
Chaos.
All right, today we have a new episode. So, what are we going to talk about, girls?
Well, we're gonna talk about everybody's favorite baggage.
Emotional baggage.
Well, you're spoiling everything. I was like, guys, guess what kind of baggage? Like, are we going somewhere? Are we traveling, just the three of us? Is it about being a tourist or something? But you just like,
So, is it about being tourists? We just cut it out.
no, it's fine. Yes, it is about emotional baggage. And it might sound like you clicked on the wrong podcast. You're like, is it about three girls talking about languages? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And emotional baggage and just emotional stuff is still important while you're talking about learning and teaching and anything connected with languages.
Oh, yes, because it is part of us and it can be a great obstacle to actually acquire language and believe in yourself and believe that you can speak that language.
True.
Yes.
Should we talk about some stories from our students or maybe our emotional baggage connected to languages? Because I have some.
Oh my
This is
god.
like putting out on the spot. What? Our emotional baggage? What?
I can start with myself.
Okay,
No,
go ahead.
actually, it's not a funny story, but it's part of my journey. So, when I entered the university and I started to learn Spanish, I fell in love with the sound of the language. But unfortunately, learning was not my priority number one at that point. And somewhere on
What
the
would
way,
I ask?
socializing,
Ooh.
getting out with friends, I guess, something like that.
You do not like, mm, you do not seem like a party animal to me.
It was not that kind of party.
Okay. A quiet party?
Yeah, a quiet party. Like we were just sitting in quiet and drinking tea.
And reading is my kind of party.
Yes, and reading. Yeah, something in foreign languages for sure, because like we were studying them. No, so the point is that at some point I understood that I'm not doing great at learning Spanish, and I even had some not troubles, but some obstacles to overcome during my exam session, and had some talks with my teachers about you're not gonna learn that language. No, no, never. You will never speak that language. But I was persistent enough. So I finished it. I got all my great degrees and even got the right diploma, which was a surprise to me. So the point was that when I finished the university and I had around like B2 level, which I still have, I didn't feel freedom of speaking. So I was really shy to speak in Spanish. It didn't go over to English because English was much better. And but when there were some situations when I needed to talk Spanish, it was a disaster because I couldn't remember the words. My palms were sweaty, and everything went down the hill from the very beginning of the conversation. And I had to overcome that emotional baggage, that trauma myself. to be able to speak and even to teach that language right now. So I understand that it can be a really tough phenomena, and it can be a real deal breaker for some people to actually continue and pursue learning language.
But can you like share more on this emotional baggage you're talking about? Because the one you described sounds just like language barrier.
Yes, that's all I wanted to say too.
It's like, and you are describing me when I like started even teaching English, sweaty palms and like all this stuff. I can even sometimes get it when this is my first lesson with a new student. And not that I can't speak English, I can, but I can still get nervous and emotional, maybe even at some stages. So like, it's like because you didn't have enough knowledge as you felt, and you felt nervous talking in Spanish, or what was it?
No, I believe that I had enough knowledge to speak, but
Right.
I had that strong belief that I cannot speak. So it was my projection
Was
of
it
my
because the teacher
fears.
told you like you will never master the language unless you start learning it
No, it wasn't
harder?
unless you start learning it. It was just you will never master the language.
But what's
Full
the
stop.
context? What's the context?
The context was that I was at the exam,
Right.
and during the exam, during the oral part, I got, I don't remember. She said that I will get C,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, like, I will never get C, gets me to the re examination.
Mm-hmm.
I signed it there, and she said, like, it will not help you. You will never learn the language. You will
Mm-hmm.
never learn that language. And it kind of stick with me. And every time when I wanted to start speaking Spanish, I kind of heard that voice in my head, and I was like, she is an experienced teacher. What can I do? She knows better than me. And it was, yes, it was a language barrier, but it was inspired or it was implemented in my head by my teacher.
Well, you proved her wrong, first of all.
Hope
Now
so.
look at you speaking Spanish, and yeah, and actually teaching it. So like, okay, now I understand, but you should have shared more first on this one. So it's like her lack of belief in you
Hmm.
um, got you to that bad place. Um,
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that she did it like on purpose and she wanted to humiliate me or something, because she was quite a sarcastic woman,
Person? No.
yeah, person, and I don't think that she meant it as an insult that will break my self belief or something like that.
mhm.
I think for her it was kind of joke because I remember she said it with a smile, but it was harsh for me.
Well, again, like to play devil's advocate,
Hmm.
it's your like second foreign language, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think it's because you really liked the language and you really wanted to learn it. And like, yes, you had some troubles and you wanted to be better. But I guess she just saw lots of other students who were not that interested and they were like, okay, with like grade C, B, whatever, D, E, I don't know. And she was even maybe even surprised somewhere with you, like, do you like wanna like be better in Spanish? Do you need it really? And you were like,
Hmm.
yeah, I need it. And she was like, okay. But like, so again, I'm not supporting her and not supporting you. I'm just saying that as a teacher, I might understand where she's coming from, maybe. So yeah, but it was of course not okay to say things like that. But again, we all say things we might regret later. Maybe not as teachers, I hope,
Hmm.
but as people. So yeah, but.
Yes, and
Mhm.
looking back, I understand that uh, I believe she was kind of encouraging me. It's like, can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, show me
Yeah.
and stuff. And actually, it worked for me because I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Rolling
do
up your
that.
sleeves and
Challenge
like,
Yes, yes,
accepted.
yes.
let's get to work.
Yes, yes. It took some time for sure, but yeah, it
It's
was
actually, have you noticed? I think this is the approach. Maybe she was like some kind of like seeing something, because this is the approach you have. Like, remember you shared your story with English, where you had a friend who went to England and had like a better English, and you're like, I'm gonna be even better. And you like
mhm.
did it. So I think this is the kind of you approach,
Yeah,
to be
maybe
honest.
she just saw that in me.
Yeah, I feel like she needs
Yeah.
these obstacles. I'm gonna create them for her. I'm not gonna believe in her. She's got a supportive mom already. I'm gonna be not supportive teacher. So, yeah. So yeah.
I also remember Ksusha being very socially active at that point, because you, as far as I remember, you were the head of the
Party planning.
students
Community.
community.
No,
How is
it
it
was
called
head
even?
of your students' union, I guess, of the faculty.
Yes, students
That's
union.
fancy. Sounds fancy.
Yes, and many teachers, many professors at the university, they always say, "Wow, this student union is always it just stands in the way of students of so being
Mm-hmm.
progressive in their
Being students.
languages. It's just rubbish. You shouldn't do that. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be socially active. You shouldn't join the students union." No, so maybe it's also this kind of attitude attitude to you, maybe,
Yeah, yeah,
that
maybe.
caused this kind of sarcastic thing.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know.
that's true. Maybe actually some professors remembered me exactly because I was the head of the students' union and actually worked and it actually helped. But the others were kind of against that, and it was the other side of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not the main point of that story. The main point of that story was that I had some psychological barrier that didn't help me in mastering the language. And I see that barrier a lot in my students. And this is one of the reasons why I like to teach Spanish, not English, because for Spanish, people usually come because they like the language. They don't have it as a must, they don't have to know it because of work, or they don't have to learn it because of, I don't know, studying or something. They just have it as their own desire. And in this case, they don't have that emotional baggage that they carry with them.
They
But
don't
if we talk
expect much, right? They don't have these high expectations.
that as well, yes, and also they don't have some background stories, very sad ones, that prove to them that again they will never master the language, and it is going smoother, it's going lighter with them. And if I'm talking about the adult students that come to me and they have like A2 level or B1 level, and they're saying like I'm learning language like 12 years or 15 years and I'm still there, they are at the brink of never coming back. And I also have that responsibility to keep them further and further from the edge and to make them believe in themselves that they can actually do that.
That's a good thing you do.
Do you have the same, or am I the only one experiencing that?
Of course, we have students that have these
Full
language
stop.
barriers,
That
these
happens.
baggage, this baggage, emotional baggage, and everyone is different in that emotional baggage. Everyone has their own experience. Someone has this traumatic experience during the school. They also had these teachers who told them they are just nothing, they won't be able to master the language, they are just going to be, I don't know, not people, not people they want to be, or something like that. So maybe um, it's my responsibility now to make them believe they can do better, they can do it, make them motivate them. Many students who come to me and say, well, I have learned the language for 5 years, but I know nothing. And then you go, you say, well, okay, again, one more time dealing with psychological traumas and so on. But still, it's a good thing because you I accept the challenge, and I try to motivate them by being motivated myself with this language, by maybe finding something that they like and turning it into, like putting it into the um, language, like, how is it called, on
I
the
don't know.
language path. On the language
All
path.
right.
I don't know,
So
railways.
including that into their learning process somehow.
That's how
Hmm.
they began. They begin thinking, okay, it can be funny. Wow, I didn't know that.
Um, I actually remembered what I meant by emotional baggage. I mean, when we were discussing the topic of the next episode, I remembered what I meant.
Hmm.
Well, anyways, on this topic, I do not have people who like come to me and say like, well, teachers told me I'm nothing and like, you need to fix it. Not really. I have people who like, oh, I've been learning it for 10, 12, whatever years, and I can't speak it. But then when they start speaking the language, you understand that they actually like underestimate themselves because they know
Hmm.
something. And as we actually in one of our episodes we found out that people who graduate school on average can speak at the level of what elementary or intermediate, what was it, I don't remember, but like
I think it
not
was B1.
okay, pre-intermediate
At
then, so
least.
like not the highest level possible. Of course we have like some schools that are like special and some special kids and whatever, but if you just went to a usual average school, you're gonna graduate with B1
Hmm.
if you like paid attention in classes, which is rare again, as Taya mentioned, because it's not like you do not discuss the stuff you want to discuss. You're discussing something that is interesting for you, so you just learn some grammar which is boring if it's not put into the right context for you. So I'm not like blaming, I am actually blaming a bit our school system educated like school system. And I'm not blaming the teachers because they're just like cogs in the machine. So anyways, but when I also have students who come to me and they're like, well, yeah, it was boring school, I didn't learn much, and then you start making the language fun and the lessons fun for them, and they're surprised and they start learning, and it is much faster because they are older and the processes are faster and stuff. So yeah, I agree with this one. um that it's just like you need to believe in people more, that's it, and you need to praise them more, not with this awful grades we have at school, just with like some maybe individual remarks and some individual help, support, or whatever. But again, nobody has time for it, unfortunately, in our school. Well, maybe at some good schools that will have private schools, I assume, but average public school, I'm not sure. I haven't had such an experience, at least. Maybe now it is better there, but again, you just need to believe in people. And
Yeah, you need to show them their progress as well because
yeah, and
people
again,
that
not
they
with
are,
tests and grades. Sorry, yeah, go on.
yeah, they're just blindsided with their lack of self belief,
Mm-hmm.
and they do not see their progress themselves. So you just
Mm-hmm.
like show them, it's like, this is it. Do you see that? You couldn't do that like a couple of weeks ago. Now you did that. Praise
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Works. What did you want to say about emotional baggage? What did you
I maybe
originally
it's not emotional baggage. I don't know, but I actually wanted to discuss the stuff that we're all people, and stuff happens in our lives and in our students' lives. And when they come to a lesson, it like you need to like read the room, read the Zoom. I don't know, whatever, just to understand like what's going on. It's not like I'm not saying that you need to like ask lots of questions to like, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? No, but just like sometimes people feel down, and
Mhm.
you can like pick them up with the language, with some joke, with some fun exercise or whatever. But sometimes you just need to let them be, because
Mhm.
I have like students who like just they have different mood even at different time of day, and you just need to like be aware. And also do not forget about yourself, that you might feel down, and it also unfortunately gonna influence your lessons. I'm not gonna say in a bad way, but just somehow. So you need to be prepared for it, to it, sorry. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to say. I know I like it sounds like it's not connected, but I think it is, because I noticed the
No,
difference in my lessons.
it is connected. It's just a bit two different things. We are just saying about some psychological traumas. It may not be about the person saying like you will never do that. It may be anything connected. Maybe the person had some experience when he tried to communicate in the language and it didn't work out, and then he has this block now. Or maybe, I don't know, yeah, some just bad experience, and that will be some emotional baggage for him. And also it can be like smaller, like everyday dose, and that's what you are talking about when we can feel down, or maybe we are having some troubles at work, or like our students have some troubles at work or in their studies if they're studying, and they come with that. It's also emotional baggage, but it's just like not a suitcase but a handbag.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's all works together, and I agree with you that you need to read the Zoom for that. And that's a very cool phrase. And sometimes I understand that my students are getting more invested in the lesson because they understand that they can come to the lesson in the bad mood, and they will not be judged for that or something. And they can say, like, I am not feeling well. And after my question, like, do you want to tell me something, like, not, and I will not go there. And they are feeling very grateful for that. My favorite emotional pro, I would say, is my 12 years old student, because sometimes he just surprised me to the core of my heart. When I'm asking, how are you? How was the day? And stuff. And he's like, I'm not feeling well. Like, I'm not in a good mood. And I said, like, okay, do you want to talk about that? Okay, no, I'm not ready. Like, that is maturity for me. And then at the end of the lesson, he may say about that, he may not say about that, but he is very aware of all that stuff. And it's also about being, yeah, emotional, mature, I guess. Or some people, when they need some time, I have a student who, at the beginning of our lessons, when we started our lessons a little less than a year ago, and I was asking him, how are you? How was the day? And he was also, I'm fine, I'm okay, everything is all right. And then with some time, he kind of mellowed and he started to share something more personal or some doubts that he has at work and stuff. And I see that he's feeling better after that sometimes. And we can continue with the lesson again, maybe somehow lift up his mood, and I can joke a bit or something, or just change the topic. And he's like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's just talk about this one. And he dives into the topic we're talking about, and he forgets, at least for some time, about his troubles.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good distraction from your own problems. So learn a language.
Distract yourself.
Just a little bit of advertisement.
Yes, yes,
Sorry.
that's true.
Good. So
If we're talking about dealing with this emotional baggage, if we're talking about one person from our audience who has something like some trauma or maybe some everyday handbag as we had, can we give some advice to them?
should we? If he or she asks, maybe all right. But if oh, you mean how they deal with that?
Yes,
Or
I mean
during the
that.
lesson, like, hey, you're not okay. I can see you're not okay. Just tell me right now in front of everyone
No, 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 no,
what's
no.
wrong.
I'm just talking about the person who just understands that, yeah, he has some troubles. How can he deal with that?
Well, not attending the lesson is a bad idea. Not attending the lesson.
No, I don't think I don't talk about the lessons. I'm just in general, like I am the person, imagining I'm the person who is learning Japanese and having some troubles with that. Yeah, I'm
With
just looking at you,
Japanese?
Taya.
Uh-huh.
It's an example. I'm not
No, I mean,
learning
okay,
Japanese.
with the language.
Yes, with the language, and I have some troubles with that. Is there any way how to deal with emotional baggage or
Oh,
language barrier or whatever it is?
Wait,
emotional
well,
trauma.
again, it's like a very high level of awareness that you
Okay.
learn language like, okay, I'm having some troubles. It might be my emotional baggage. Like, it's like I haven't seen it in my students.
All right.
So like I have examples, I'm not gonna share them, but like it's like only
Most of
with
the times it
time.
remains unconscious, maybe.
It's like, okay, I have examples where persons persons personal issues were interfering with learning language,
Mhm,
but then all I had for them is just support and
mhm,
patience, and I gave them
mhm,
space and time,
mhm,
and after a break they came back, and they dealt with the issue. I don't know how. I didn't even ask because I wasn't like, I remember that you were like this and now you're like this, and of course not. But just I saw they like change. Like I know it took some time, but they came back. Now it is better.
mhm.
But like I don't know. It takes some work that you do on yourself. That's it. And I'm not even sure that it was like conscious. Oh my god,
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't progress in English because I have like anxiety issues, for example. That is like, if there are people who are like this, good for them. But in most cases you can't even like, this is why I feel sometimes that I am like therapist, but I can't be like therapist because I'm not licensed and qualified, let's be honest. But I can feel that yes, something is troubling people, and but they can do it only themselves. All you can do as a teacher is support, show them the progress they already made, and just, I know, support, patience, time, space. That's all I have.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just worth to mention that it's okay, and we all have emotional baggage.
Of
That's
course. Of course.
that's
I
okay.
actually, as I get older and I try to learn more languages, I understand mm, the kind of, what is it, learning I need. So like it's not even about teachers, let's put it this way. I just understand how I process information, and I can either tell the person straight away that I need the information to be like this and like in that size, and usually small size, and or like I'm not gonna like learn it the right way.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
understand like how it sounds because you know, when you see students, not even your students, but like somebody's like request, right, like this long, like oh my god, and you're like, emotional baggage, this is where you see it, like but you come with the same one, but like from the right place, because you are a teacher and you are aware of your needs and you understand how it works. So like this is why I say that teachers are the worst students ever.
They are the most demanding.
Yeah, well, again, I'd say yes, um on one side, and on the other side, on one hand, sorry, on one hand, and on the other hand, they are the worst because they don't do as much for
True.
different reasons. And you're just like, okay, but you're a teacher, like you're a teacher. It's like me, for example, I'm like all for that my students have to do like the homework, right? And then I
Funny.
might not do it myself. So like this is like me being hypocritical. Oh, what's the word? I don't remember the right one.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hypocrite.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I get the idea that Ksusha had in her question. When I see a student who has some difficulties with mastering a language, with learning it, and is and he just cares about it a lot, and I say, okay, maybe you've got some feedback for my teaching styles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'd like to try something else. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you'd like to rearrange our uh, lesson, or maybe you'd like to mm, learn vocabulary some other way, not the way we are learning them now. But and this is the time when I have to set the boundaries as well, because if I do much more than it requires from me as a teacher, and the student is just okay, I'm just leaning down, leaning back, and the teacher does everything for me, it doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
still need to put, as a student, you need to put some effort
Mm-hmm.
to overcome your obstacles. You still need to uh, get a grip, I don't know how do you
Mm-hmm.
call
Mhm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and do something, and then you will progress,
Mhm.
not
I
just
remember the
being sad.
phrase when I said like get a grip. I remember like pull yourself together.
Well, like this, yes, pull yourself together, just, and try at least something, try to change something.
Yeah,
It
Mhm.
might work out, it might help you.
I understand now. Like, I get it. So what Ty is saying is like absolutely right. As a teacher, when you see that your student is struggling, you need yourself to understand, like maybe by asking questions like, what is it? Them not doing enough? Maybe you not doing enough. Also possible. Nobody's perfect. Or it's really something psychological, some issues like anxiety, I know, depression, maybe whatever, like it can be anything. So then the third one is not your responsibility. You can like maybe like point out to it somehow if like gently, but the other two you can deal with and you can understand. Like I had example when people, I mean my students were like, well, like maybe we should try it like this. And in most cases, of course, I'm reluctant because I'm the teacher. So like, yeah, hair flip. but let me tell you the story. I had such a dream. I was like, okay, let's try it, and we did, and it didn't work still. And I was like, well,
Because I knew better.
I didn't say it,
Better than
but
the
then,
others.
but then the student
I
said
told
to
you
me,
so.
no, wait, but then the student said like, when again, like I like suggest something now, like would you like to do it later? And he was like, you know better, you are the teacher. He says it to me himself, and I'm like, okay. Fine, I am the teacher. But again, it was worth trying. It was worth not like rubbing it in their faces like, oh come on, I know better, because sometimes I don't sometimes they suggest some things and I'm like, oh, okay, it even better. But
Mhm.
yeah, in some cases, like, you know I told you so. But yeah, to
The
myself.
students know themselves better than a teacher. The teacher knows
Again.
about their hobbies and the family and everything,
It's
personal
like,
life.
who knows you the most? Yes, like do do do
Yeah.
do do do.
Yeah, I've never spoken so much about myself till I started learning English. This is the most famous meme about English. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Learning the language is very psychological thing, very much psychological. And yes, some traumas and some emotional baggage can raise up during the process, but that's okay. I want to emphasize it one more time. It's okay. We all have the emotional baggage. Remember Ted with his emotional baggage at
Oh.
the end of How I Met Your Mother. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. We just deal with it. And it's the art of baby steps. Again, I will come back to that phrase over and over again because you just deal with one thing at a time and you go on. You
Mhm.
feel, you see your progress, and you understand that you can do something better than they used to, that you did before, or you can do something that you couldn't do before, and then it will solve the problem, I guess.
Okay. Should we wrap it
Yeah.
up? I think it's like
Yes, yes, I
good
think that
place.
would be a
We're in a
good
good
place
place.
to finish.
Let's remember before we go to the bad place. No, no, no. Close the door. Close the door. Hold it.
Don't
Hold
open
it.
that door.
Hold
Hold
the
it.
door.
Hold it.
Hold the door.
Hold it. Well, issues. Let's hold them there. That has the best. The best. Yes.
All right, thank you very much for
Shall we
listening.
Shall we make it our cover?
Yes. Oh my god, no, don't get in, don't get in.
Please, yes.
Oh my god, that's just me crying.
All
Why
right.
laughing, crying? What's the word? Yeah.
I think
So
it's a
thank you
good
guys.
place.
Thank you
Yes,
guys.
thank you very much for listening to Zooming Through Chaos.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
If
See
you
you.
like
Bye
the
bye.
videos, like them, comment, share your comments.
Press the, what is it, bell, everything there. So thank you very much. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.